Oh, hello. Welcome. Hi. It's been a minute since I've done a video. Listen, to be fair, this goal here was just 2 videos per month. And you guys got 3, I think, with my wrap-ups. So there's that. But yeah, hi. Welcome back to a vlog. I guess we're going to talk about some writing today. And truthfully, I've been writing. That's fun, right? We're doing it. I have not wanted to vlog it, and then oftentimes I would be in the middle of writing when I'm like, oh, maybe I should have vlogged, but then I'd be like, I don't want to. So yeah, the last 2 weeks have been steady. That's the word we'll use. It is currently October 30th, and as I kind of showed you guys, I was crossing off some things here. So we watched Midsummer. It was excellent. It definitely makes me think about my culty book that I eventually want to write. That is going to be a little bit more supernatural. It's going to have some witches and witchcraft in it, but it is going to be a cult, which I'm excited to play around with, but that's down the road. We're not there yet, but I did like Midsummer quite a lot. I really liked the grief concepts there, and it's interesting because in my day job, I've actually been working with grief clients quite frequently lately. I've had I think 6 newer clients that have come in due to grief complications. And I'm also reading a grief book. And yeah, it was just interesting to see this all kind of come together and seeing that as a concept in horror. I think it was done very well. I also edited one of my older short stories. I had one that was a horror short story with a very big anxiety focus and exploring how our thoughts can kind of be disaligned, like that's the real horror. And I initially wrote it for under 2,000 words. It was for a contest. I ended up wanting to resubmit it to a new submission call, and they had said the sweet spot was between 3,000 and 4,000 words. And I was like, great, because I want to add words to this anyway. And honestly, I think the story is much better for it. I went from almost 2,000 words to about 3,500, and I am very proud of the story. I loved the story beforehand. I think it's so much better now. And even if it doesn't get accepted in the submission call, because I don't know if it quite fits, I'll be honest, I think there's an irony to the story, but I think they're looking a little bit more for black humor and satire in the horror genre, and that's not quite what my story is. So it might not get accepted, but hey, I'm proud of the work I did. And so 2 weeks ago, that was all I did for a solid week. I did edits, I got feedback, did more edits, and I submitted it. So that took up 1 week. And then last week, on the 20th, I had a mental health dip, which also attributed to me not vlogging. It was the time of the month where my mental health just falls off the rails a little bit, and it hit me a lot harder this month. I've also I was experiencing headaches every single day. I was experiencing extreme fatigue. I also have just been all of my clients are showing up at work at my day job, so I've just been exhausted, and yeah, I just didn't get as much done as I wanted to last week. So we are now here on the 30th, and we are finishing up a new short story. So my kind of soft goal, since I've been doing these things, I don't know if I've discussed them with anybody, especially you guys, since I kind of took 2 weeks off, but I decided that I'm gonna do my own version of NaNoWriMo, just for myself, because I liked the motivation of trying to write a novel in the month of November. But I didn't even really like the fanfare of it all. I liked that it tracked my words, but I could do that on my own. So I'm going to. I made a tracker called Write the Damn Book. Now, what I'm gonna do is I have 2 goals here. So my goal for the end of the year, in the 4th quarter, was to write a new book. And I wanted to aim for 60,000 words. I think that's a solid first draft. I have done it before. Usually my books tend to be around 60,000. I've had 52, 56, 70, 60,000 seemed like a good middle ground for me. So my thought process was every day in November, I'm going to write something. I have a low goal of writing 1,000 words a day, which if you do the math, that means I will have 30,000 words in the month of November. aka half a book. But I also have a stretch goal of 2,000 words. And while I don't think I'm going to write 2,000 words every day, even though I have done 1667 in the past and got 50,000 words in the month, if you do the math again, if I do 2,000 words every single day, I will have 60,000 words for a new novel. So either way, I will be much better off to finish a novel by the end of the year. And that way, I'm kind of aiming for the middle ground. I'm aiming for 1,500, which means I have a little bit of a buffer in December to take a day off here and there if I need to, instead of writing every day. So that's where we're going with this novel. But I have other goals here. I have Bitter End Challenge goals, and one was to write a new short story. So before I can start on November 1st, I need to get my short story done. And what I've been doing this week is pushing myself to write something every single day so I can get this story done. And I actually really love this little short story. I switched gears. I took a break from horror to kind of do a palate cleanse. And I'm writing a paranormal romance short story about a ghost and a lady who are in love. And I am having so much fun with it. I feel like it's really sweet. I had a couple comments. I shared a couple snippets here and there, and people were really, really liking the snippets. So yeah, I'm at 2590 word-wise. I have like 1 or 2 more sentences to write, and then my first draft is done. And tonight I would like to go through and read it one more time and then get some feedback on it because I haven't read it cohesively. I've actually wrote this not chronologically, which is not something I usually do a lot anymore. I used to do it a lot more when I was younger, but I was just trying to get the story started, and I was doing some writing in places where we should not be writing on the down low. And I was just like, I just need to write anything. So I was hopping around. I wrote a bit of the end. I wrote the middle. I wrote the beginning. And eventually it got to where I needed to go. So now we're just writing the ending. And I'm really excited about it. So that's where we're at. That was my preamble. We are doing well with this Bitter End Challenge. I promise you. I'm getting somewhere. And even though I did do the Horrorcraft workshop, I did a Q&A last night with the Tobias agency. They were focusing on first pages and first lines initially, but at the end, somebody else asked like a random question. I'm like, here's my opportunity. I'm going to throw in a question. And I did. And I had like 2 questions about like querying small presses as well as querying agents. And I was leaning towards like innately, I was thinking it was going to be one answer, and they did give that out. And they basically just said like, you could do whatever you want, but if you're going to query small presses, what's the purpose of then having an agent? Because small presses are fine and they're reputable, and that's like a great way to get published. But like basically they were asking like, what's your end goal? What's the things you want? And what would an agent do for you? And if your goal is to just be published, then doing it, self-pub or small press is completely fine. If you want more of the like getting into bookstores and getting into book boxes and having better sales potentially, like that's where the agent can assist with. So I kind of figured that was going to be the response, but I was happy to ask it. And so, yeah, just had that for my back pocket knowledge, and now we move on. So that's where we're at. Okay, I've talked, I've rambled, I'm ready to write. I got to finish the short story and read it over once because it's about 4:30 right now, and I'm going to have dinner soon. So I want to get this done before dinner. So come along with me. Let's write a little bit. Terrible with this vlog, but I have been working. We've been busy. So it's Saturday, November 8th. Thursday night, I did writing sprints on YouTube with Zilla. I'll leave her link down below. I'm doing the bitter end challenge with her, and I love how productive we were. And I also love the conversation. As a great guest, but we had such a great, I think both of us did like really well writing. She was killing it for the day, working on a new kind of like plot bunny idea that came to her. And then yesterday, Friday, was kind of like a chaos day for me. I've been doing very well since November 1st, writing every single day. I've been doing like I hope to get 1,000 at the minimum, 2,000 if we're having a really great day. And yesterday was the first day of the first week of November that I didn't write at all. And truthfully, like, I couldn't, quite literally. I had from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. non-stop sessions, and every single client showed up, which is so rare. But I had 8 clients. I didn't even have my admin hour. I had goofed up in my scheduling. So I was, since it was my fault, I put someone in my admin hour. So yeah, every single client showed up. And then when I went home, I didn't even go home. I didn't step foot in my house. I picked up my husband. We went to visit in-laws. Then we went out to eat and we went to the store. And by the time I got home, it was like 8:30. We went out to dinner too. And so yeah, it was just like 8:30. And I just had like a good night, and as much as I wanted to write, I was like, okay, like I've been doing really well. If I miss today, I don't have a ton of plans this weekend. I probably can get 3,000 words. So then here we are today. I went to a local festival in town, but it was a lot of vendors, and the only thing that I ended up doing was one of my favorite wines from a local winery. I don't really like their regular stuff, but they have one of the best seasonal caramel apple sangria like wines. I don't even know. It's just caramel apple. It's so good. And I like go every other, like 1 year I'll remember to buy some, then the next year I'll forget and be mad about it. So the vendors were there, they had it, and I was able to buy one. So I bought 2 bottles. And then I went down to it's an old mall. They kind of redone it, and there's a lot of like pop-up things now, but they had like a stands for local humane societies, shelters, rescue places. And so my mom and I checked it out, spent a little bit of money to donate to the causes and stuff like that. And then I came home and then I wrote. And so I wrote about 1,300. It was 1,310 words when I got home. So that is, deducted from my 3,000. It is now 8 o'clock. I'm chatting here. I don't want to chat too much because I would love to knock off a challenge up here. My husband is playing video games for the night, and I want to watch Bring Her Back. It's perfect time for me to do it since he wants to go play video games. But before I do that, it's time to submit my short story. I was thinking about just doing it tomorrow, but because I want to get as close to 1,000 words tomorrow as possible, I figured I could write a little bit in the morning, then maybe write a little bit in the afternoon or night. And I also have to prep for a retreat that I am going on. And because I have all of that to do, I figured I should just read through my story one more time and submit it tonight. So we're gonna do that. So that's what I'm doing now. I have a cider, I have my other water, and then I'm trying so hard not to be super late starting this movie because I go to bed so early. So if I could at least start it by 8:30, I think we'll be solid. So I have a half hour-ish to get this short story submitted, and that's where we're at. So I'm excited for some movement on the Bitter End Challenge this week, since the last 2 weeks have been a little bit stalled out. But yeah, I think that's where we're at. I don't know, man. I don't know. So let's just not ramble anymore and get to it, and I'll see you guys when I see you.
You want it? No, I'm so jealous. Yeah. She's so embarrassed. But the fact that she's trying to be, but she's like,
Hi friends. So it's November 9th, and I wanted to wrap up this vlog. I know it's been a little bit chaotic. It's been a few weeks that this has been ongoing with very little updates, but we made it. So I just finished my writing for the weekend, where I wanted to be. Because I missed Friday's goal, I didn't get to write it all. I wanted to write at least 3,000 words so I could keep in line with where I'm going by today. And I did it. I just hit the 10,000 mark. I'm at 10,363 words of my new work in progress, and I'm feeling good. Like, I have no idea right now. I outlined, I know where the story's flowing. There's still some discovery writing in it, but the words are coming, and I'm just making it work. So I'm not worrying about editing and like where making things perfect and things like that, but I'm just having so much fun, and I'm about to get to the first game. The way that this should be flowing in my brain, Act 1 will end with the first mess up, like the almost death or the first death, because they're gonna happen pretty succinctly, where like you're basically gonna have maybe a slight fake out with the one game, and then the death is gonna come later for some other reason. And I'm excited for that. So basically, I'm about to enter my first game, and the first game goes smoothly, but there are going to be 2 eliminations. One because someone actually gets eliminated, and one because somebody refuses to do the task. So I'm trying to get people like moving pretty quickly. So even though like there is going to be like a final girl moment in this book, there are going to be technically other survivors. These survivors just didn't have to endure all the horrors, you know? So I'm gonna get through my first game, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait. It's gonna be inspired by a Fear Factor episode, which was pretty gruesome, and I'm excited to write that. I really want to write it tonight, but I think I'm gonna take a break from writing because I have some life stuff to do, but I'm really excited for it. So anyway, I can ramble about my book all day long, but I did want to just chime in to also say that I watched Bring Her Back last night. It was very heavy. I did not realize that both Midsummer and Bring Her Back, which were the 2 movies I really wanted to watch before the end of the year, were both going to focus so much on grief and PTSD. Wow. What a downer in some ways. Movie was excellent, but there are a lot of trigger warnings. There are like child abuse, child neglect, death of a parent, death of a child. Ugh, there's just a lot. There's a lot, and it was very heavy. And I was watching it last night just going like, oh my god, like this is insane. But as far as like a screenplay go, it was done very well. There were a few things in the movie that didn't quite add up or make sense to me, and they still don't. Like I was sitting on it thinking about it today, and like, oh, there's this 2 parts where she, like the one, like the bad guy in this movie was kind of like doing or saying things that never really came to fruition, and maybe I missed it, but there was just a few little things, but otherwise it was great. So I watched that. I submitted my short story. I have that out in the world now, and I wrote all the words. So now I'm gonna finish up this vlog and get this scheduled for it to go up tomorrow, and I'm gonna do some like laundry and dishes, and then I think me and my husband are gonna watch a movie tonight. It's rainy, it is hoa weather, and I am just kind of looking forward to just maybe hanging out and relaxing for the rest of the night. So that is it for me. Hopefully I will remember to vlog a little bit more in the next couple weeks, but for now, here's my face. I'm still alive and we're thriving. Let me know how your week of writing has been, or just how your November has been if you're not writing right now. And if you got this far into the video and you have nothing else to say, please leave me a little candle emoji. I feel like it's fitting for the time of year with the darkness happening. Whatever reason you want to light a candle and leave it in the comments below. And that's it for me. So until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.